Arduino project time. I haven't done an Arduino project for a long time. In fact, my last Arduino project was part of a series of projects. But I got a question both on my blog and on my channel. Just where do I hook this up to on the Arduino? Well, the answer is you don't. Not directly anyway. You need a driver circuit in order to keep from overloading the Arduino, as its output is great for LEDs, but a motor would draw too much current and probably cause you a little bit of grief with your Arduino. In fact, it might fry it. So we need this. This is a driver circuit, and we're going to hook the Arduino up to pin 9. We need a resistor, which is 10k ohms, and we have a transistor. In this case, a P2N2222 AG. Small transistor. I assume from the circuit probably a 2N2222 would do the job. I don't know. And we have a motor, DC motor, with a diode across it. The purpose of the diode is to protect the rest of the circuit here against back EMF of spikes and so on. Our voltage is hooked up down here, and then we have a ground over here. These are for my next project. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but if you can see them at all, you might have a guess. So let's get started putting components together. I am going to speed up the assembly drastically because watching somebody plug in all of those wires into an Arduino and the components is kind of like watching paint dry, and what you're really interested in seeing is how it works and what the program looks like. So let's get started. Okay, so I need something to power the motor with. All of my power supplies are buried in boxes somewhere, so I've dug up this old 5-volt cell phone charger that I'm going to use. Is it 5 volts? Actually, I think it's 3 volts, but that's close enough for our purposes. And I've cut the end of the lead off, and I have to solder the ends so that they'll fit into the holes in the breadboard. So let's go with that. Put my eyes on. I'm using a soldering gun here. I wouldn't normally do this with solid state stuff, but I'm only tinning wires, so yeah, we're okay. There we go. We're ready to power. That is provided that the power supply is okay, of course. So I had to take a bit of a break and do a bit of troubleshooting because this wouldn't work with the sketch. Now I'm just gonna take a minute here and bring the sketch up, I hope. It's not really that easy to see here. The code will be available on my blog, which I will put a link to down below in the description. But it's pretty darn simple. This first line at the top, int motor pin equals 9, we simply assign the pin of the Arduino that we want to drive the motor. And then we go into setup, and all we're doing in void setup is telling the Arduino that the mode of the pin, the motor pin, is an output. And then in loop, we are then calling the subroutine motor on, then off. And then we assign two variables, on time, 2500 milliseconds, and an off time of 1000 milliseconds. And then we write the output, the motor pin high, for a delay of on time or 2500 milliseconds, and then we write the motor pin low or off for a delay time or off time of 1000 milliseconds. So let's just see if it works, shall we? Off, on, off, on. It's a very fast time, and that can be adjusted in the sketch. In fact, I'll make a quick change to the sketch and we'll do that now. Now you can see that I've changed the on time to 2000 milliseconds and the off time to 2000 milliseconds. So I've doubled the off time and cut the on time by 500 milliseconds. Now, just in case, I'm going to show you how we compile and upload the sketch to the Arduino. I'm going to move this over and hopefully we can see the process. So we verify and compile. And that's such a small sketch that you can see it finished pretty darn quickly. So now I'm going to upload. Oh, it won't upload if you don't plug it in. And you can see that the time has drawn out a little bit, but let's change this again. Let's drop the on time to 1000 milliseconds. Compile, it's done. Now let's upload it. And you can see that the on time is drastically shorter, whereas the off time is longer. So, to the individual who wanted to know what pin do we hook up to, as I said before, you don't hook up to a pin, at least not directly. You need a driver circuit. And I'll throw the schematic onto my blog as well so you can see where does which wire go, because this is a bit of a mess. See you later.